two-stroke hybrid electric bike thing. On this episode, we're gonna make a gas tank. Before we can build a gas tank, we have to put the seat post in. Before we can put the seat post in, we have to get the chain line right, and in order to get the chain line right, we have to put in a chain tensioner. So let's get to work. So let's start on the gas tank, which is this. What? That's just a big ass pipe. It is a big ass pipe, but soon it's gonna be a gas tank. And I think I'm gonna put it right here. But I'm gonna mount this to the seat post, which is gonna come down here. And I kind of want to make the seat post recessed into the tank. So I'm gonna cut a piece out of this and a piece out of this and make a nice little divot. Then I have these blind mounting bungs that will go inside the divot, which is this piece. And then these mounting bungs will be inside the seat post. So you shouldn't see any mounting hardware. It's gonna look like this thing is just floating there. And it's gonna inset just inside here. So let's get to it. Guys, I'm sorry, the camera keeps overheating. And I was in the middle of welding, or preparing to weld, and I just zipped it up. So here it is, it's all here. Anyway, sorry about that. We all know what welds look like. I just burned these in real deep. This is 1/8" steel, which is overkill for a gas tank. But I'm going to trim this out. See what I mean? And then I'm gonna take this to my lathe guy, which means it's basically gonna metal finish the outside of this thing. It's gonna be laser straight, and we're gonna take several thousandths off so it becomes the thickness of a standard gas tank. So this thing lost a lot of weight, but it's nice and straight and clean. I did go a little bit deeper than I should have on the grinds there. I thought it was gonna clear all that, but nobody's gonna see it. It's a quick project, and now it's the right wall thickness. Take this over to my media blaster guy and get the inside cleaned up and start putting it all together. So I blasted this tank inside and out, so I know it's clean. There's no like weird scale in there or anything. When I put fuel in it, it should be pretty clean. I've got my end caps cut. They're gonna fit real nice. But I'm gonna clean these up so that they're clean for weld and also on the inside. This is probably way overkill for what I need to do to build a gas tank, but I'm just fucking around. Before I weld the end caps on, I realized I should probably weld in these mounting bungs. Now I chamfered the side of them so that they sit deeper in this little divot. And I was thinking, when I weld these, they might get cockeyed a little bit. And so I wanna brace them. But the only way to weld them with a bracing is to make a little tool. So I made this thick ass flat piece of steel with some slots on it so I can move it around, and it should hold it relatively straight. the camera overheated again, and I made a split decision to go ahead and re-weld all this stuff. I know I had it lathed down to get it completely flat, but I noticed a couple pinholes, and when we chopped the ends off, I noticed that there are some areas I was a little bit concerned about penetration. Looking at it now, it looks all good. This part isn't really going to be seen. It's weld. It's okay to be seen. On to the end caps. Alright, now it's all welded up. Gonna do a little bit of metal finishing. So gas tank is largely done. You may notice that this is offset to this. Basically, this is gonna stick out a little bit more because we're gonna put a filler neck right here. Still gotta put the petcock bung in here, and this guy is gonna bolt right here to the seat post, which isn't here yet, and we're gonna put it in right now. So this is still cut a little bit long. I'm going to try and move this as far over this way so that I can get the angle of this seat post as angled like this as possible, because I think that's going to look cooler. So we have a 5/8 inch tube connecting to a 1-inch tube. I could cope it and it would leave some stuff on the ends. I could like hammer it in and bend it, but I'm going to try something a little bit cuter and flatten this tube so that it kind of transitions to the same. Just got to get in here with the carbide bit and, you know, like trim it all up, make sure it's straight here. All right, so the camera overheated again. It's hot in Texas, but I'm starting to think it might be the camera. Anyway, while I was sitting here, and I have this little bit of interference with the carb from the exact angle I want to go, but I realized, because you can't really see it, but there's a flat plate that bridges these two tubes, and that's what this is going to weld to. And I realized if I offset this, I can bring this angle in much further. The mounts for the gas tank that I already made is actually already offset. And basically the spacing that I had, it was gonna protrude a little bit from the left, but more from the right, so that I could put the filler cap more upright and have some space for it. But I realized if I flip it around, it's still a little bit offset to the right if I offset this all the way to the right that I needed to. It's just a slightly different spacing, but it was meant to be like that anyway. So I'm gonna think about it for like 2 more seconds. Now I'm gonna do that. So these are all tapped in, and in an effort to maintain alignment during welding, we're gonna go back to this handy dandy tool that I used before. Hopefully this is gonna mitigate any kind of movement of these two bungs during welding. All right, we're going in for the last time before welding, hopefully. All right, we are all welded up. There's just one last thing we gotta do. We gotta mount the gas tank, find perfect level, and put the filler cap, filler neck thing in there. So I'm gonna drill a hole into my perfectly made gas tank. Always exciting. All right, I did not do the greatest job with the hole. The gap on 3/4 of it is great, but in the corners, I kind of fucked up. Ideally, a hole saw would have been great, but using a hole saw with a singular bit on an uneven edge, like with this corner, could have had a chance to like chatter and move around and really make an ugly mess. And I felt that I could sneak up on it, kind of overshot in 2 corners, but that's what filler wire's for. Now it's all welded up, kind of. We now have a roller. There's still a couple things I gotta do. I gotta put some pegs in here somewhere. And on the left side, the expansion pipe protrudes into pretty much anywhere that you would want to put your leg. So I think I'm going to section a portion of the primary here. I know it may affect performance. Don't really know how much or how little. It's probably not even gonna make a huge difference. And basically tuck the front of this loop on the expansion pipe in, and then I'm gonna basically put a crossbar in here as kind of like highway bar style pegs to put my front foot as far forward as possible. It's already a pretty compact setup, and that'll open up the rider triangle a little bit. And I gotta put them up higher so that the wide highway bars don't hit the ground when you're at lean angle. Aside from that, a couple little things. I might put a chain guard. I gotta mount the back of the expansion pipe. A bunch of little things, and the camera keeps overheating. And it's kind of tedious, and I want to get this episode out for you. So in the next episode, we are going to be test riding this thing. I have all the electronic components, but I want slightly different ones. My boy Drew down in Austin has some. We're going to do a little tradesy. And the next time you see this thing, we're going to be in the testing phase, which means we're going to be riding. And it'll be easier down there with him because of a second person to ride along with me and test and all that other stuff. So stay tuned, subscribe, like, comment, share, you know, all those things. Gotten a lot of subscribers and a lot of views on the last one, which is really exciting, definitely motivating. And it keeps these things probably coming. This is actually just the beginning of a few more projects that I'm already putting in the queue and pushing towards action. So, two-stroke hybrid electric bike thing.